Right then, so I dug deep for this week, and I wanted to give us something festive, and I came up with the Star Wars Holiday Special. Now, I managed to get a copy of it. I've had this for a while. We once watched this. I used to work at Forbidden Planet in Leeds, and we once got a copy of this on VHS. We don't know how. People used to bring stuff in all the time. It was weird like that comic shop. It's
the day before Pirate Bay, man. Before the internet. Like, yeah, you really had to look for this stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember when you got it because you told me about it, and I ended up watching it. You lent it to me, and I watched it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a.
So I mean, people. It's a legendary thing, this, so people probably are aware of it. You know, anybody watching will know what it is. 1978, they brought out a holiday special basically just after Star Wars the film, and it's absolutely terrible, most of it. There's a few redeeming things in it, but what I've done, I've got some images from it, and I'm going to go through it, and I've wrote down a little synopsis. Just interrupt me if you want. I'll just go for it because it's gonna. I've got extensive notes. Right then, so here we go. Title page. There you go. I mean, that straight away is done on VHS graphics. You know, them old graphics you could do back in the day where you had a little editor and you put up the terrible TV graphics, that kind of thing. So starts off nice and easy. Loads of stock footage from the movie Star Wars. It looks amazing. Millennium Falcon flies in. Han and Chewie, they're in it. All the main cast are in it. I mean, bless them. Han and Chewie chased by Star Destroyers. Han promises to get Chewie home for Life Day. So this is Chewie's big celebration that he has at home. He's got a wife called... He's got, say again.
Wookiee Christmas, basically.
Wookiee Christmas, yeah. He's got a wife called Marla. He's got his dad's called Itchy, and he's got a son called Lumpy. Right, so we cut to the Wookiee home planet Kashyyyk, I believe it's called. Comment.
Yeah. It is actually. I'd like to come in a second there because listening to all the Wookiees, I mean, it was like do you remember Harry and the Hendersons? Was that yeah, it was kind of like a weird sitcom sort of version. It was
poor.
Those scenes in the Wookiee home, but I said to Nathan earlier on that while I was listening to it, I kept thinking that one of the Wookiees sounded like, I just assumed that it was going to be voiced by the same person who voiced Uni in Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, yeah.
So I went and had a little Google. Yeah. So I went and had a little Google. Turns out I'm completely wrong. However, the person who did voice Uni in Dungeons and Dragons is a chap called Frank Welker, and he did voice Chewbacca in the Star Wars Lego.
I know his name. His name is a voice artist. Yeah, he's relatively famous. Can I also just say my little chip into your Star Wars special? Right, I've seen it before, but I didn't watch it again this time, so I ran out of time. But I did watch the first 25 minutes. But for the first 8 minutes, apart from the little scene with Han and Chewie, nobody speaks. It's just Wookiee speak for 8 minutes.
That's what's wrong with the whole thing. This is what I mean. The thing is way too long. It's an hour and 50 hours.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah.
And they don't say anything. So I'll go through. So basically, it cuts to the Kashyyyk. The family's in there. You meet them all, and the first thing that happens is the little Wookiee, Lumpy, runs down the stairs playing with a wooden X-wing fighter, and the granddad there, the Chewie's dad, tells him to piss off. Basically,
Itchy.
Itchy. He goes, "Fuck off! I'm busy carving X-wings." And then he goes to the kitchen. She's there in an apron. And she tells him to put the bins out. She's like, so they've had enough of him straight away. So the opening of the special, they've had enough of this kid straight away. They're like, fuck off. We've had enough.
I had to be fair.
Yeah. So he goes outside and he does the most dangerous thing in the film, which he walks along this balcony outside.
That was the one point of high suspense, wasn't it?
Yeah. That's it. That's the most dramatic thing that happens in the entire movie.
Did they use the same set designers from the Muppet Show by any chance? Because I know that they were kind of in that wheelhouse, weren't they? Both filmed in Britain.
The art there, that artwork on the views, they didn't even bother doing a new painting. That's a concept art from Ralph McQuarrie, who did all the early Star Wars stuff, Star Wars Empire and Jedi. So they just grabbed his concept art and just went, film that, fuck it.
Yeah.
forget doing a matte painting.
The whole thing smacks of laziness, doesn't it? All the way through, pretty much.
I mean, there's so much to it. Right, so back inside, I'll go through the thing and you can just add to it as we go. Marla looks at a Chewie pick. They're all missing him. They're like, where is he? He should be here by now. Big emotional scene, that. I mean, it had me straight away. Forget about your Friday night viewing for emotion. This was, this was big. It's the heart of the show. It's about family, this show. So... right, Lumpy comes back in. You're like, you should have killed him off. He should have fallen off that. Right, he comes back in and he grabs a data card and he puts it in this machine. I'll tell you what, this is ahead of its time.
Like a BBC computer.
Yeah, but all this stuff, they've got loads of things in it that is ahead of its time. Remember, this was 1978. They've got laptops, they've got video screens, they've got Zoom meetings like we're doing now. You know, they've got all this stuff. So he watches this,
piece of ballet,
this hologram show, basically, that's a load of people dancing around. Look at his face. Well, it's dead eyes. Right. He's weird. And then Marla, she scans for any ships in the area. She wants to know where Chewie is. Like, is there anything? Comes up zeros, no coming in. So she contacts our old friend Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker. There he is. With
that
us too.
scene was awful.
Good
I mean,
Lord.
the show is bad, but
how bad did it look at that? It looks. I can't say anything because we're bringing it up later, but it looks.
No, we're not.
No,
that's a photograph. That's not a painting. He looks drugged out of his mind. He's got a really weird.
They all do.
It seriously looks like he's got like thick eyeliner on too. It's really weird, and it looks like that throughout the whole thing that he does. Is so weird.
I mean, the thing is as well. She rings him. He's supposed to be like the hero in here. He's sorted out. She rings him and goes, "Oh, Ann and Chewie out here. I don't know what's happened." Basically, but she's talking in Wookiee. And he goes, "He don't do all." He just goes, "Well, I'm sure they'll be back later." Anyway.
Don't worry about it. He's never missed a life day. He's never missed one.
It's the repeated gag of where he's working on something and he's chatting away to the Wookiees, and R2D2 is just going, and he's like, "Hey, God, just get out of the way, R2." I can't see him having a conversation, and then suddenly the thing he's been working on starts smoking, and he turns around and he's like, "R2, you were supposed to be watching that," and they tell the same gag twice, and all it does is make you think Luke Skywalker's a dick, man.
Yeah.
Do that to your main character. Yeah.
I could catch an Ewok
showing up to the set and going, "So what have we got to work with?" Well, we got this one tube that fires smoke. Well, is that all? I've just done like Star Wars. Yeah, that's all we've got. But don't worry, I've got a plan. And they just keep using the same smoke. Yeah, it's really awful. That's where I tuned out, man.
But it's also the fact that, that fans of the Batman computer games and things like that will know that, Mark Hamill is a brilliantly versatile actor. The work that he's done in the Joker, the character, the acting, it's just incredible. But
now he is.
Oh Christ! Yeah, okay, but you look at Han Solo in a scene that's going to be coming up in a moment, and he's actually given it some welly in the acting stakes, considering what he's working with. There was a couple of,
Harrison Ford's the best person in this. Let's not.
Yeah, and he never hid his disdain for doing this either. He knew it was he was contractually obliged to go do this shitty holiday special, and you can't tell.
But that's kind of the point. I expected him to be sending it up more than any of the others because because it's got integrity. Yeah.
Kind of what
right then. So after he's in there with R2, Marla then rings a trading post up where
oh God.
I mean, these Imperial offices, they're all terrible in this thing as well. There's so many of them that he's in this trading post.
I never saw his mouth move. I think they dubbed his voice with an evil sounding voice because you never see. You always see the back of his head and the guy in the giant black helmet there. You never actually see his voice move, and the voice don't fit the face at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Really weird.
So I mean, they say about a pocket aquarium, and the guard goes, "I don't want one of them." He's like, "Right, dick," and he says he's off duty as well, which is a bit weird. It's like, what? And then he says he's got a. Marla's ordered a carpet, so there's actually the attempt at a joke here with it. He goes, it's been made hand solo. He actually says that.
Oh, I know.
And I'm like, what? Come back, mama joke out of The Last Jedi, all is forgiven, because that's like, I was just like, no. Anyway, we cut to actually, if this is canon, you learn a lot about the Imperials in this, because the guy says, I've got this device and it recites all 17 volumes of the Imperial Penal Code. I'm like, it's pretty good info. You know.
Yeah, but he also then says it cleans your ears and it can clean your armor and it brushes. What is this thing? It's like a cosmic Swiss pocket. What they call Swiss Army knife.
It's like it was invented by the kid's dad in Gremlins. He didn't it out.
The bath buddy. Bath buddy. So anyway, the Imperial takes the thing anyway and don't pay for it because I'm not paying for it. And then the shopkeeper's like, "What? You're off duty. You can't just come in here and anyway."
No. He's like, I didn't want to insult you. I didn't want to insult you.
Yeah, he goes, I was going to give it to you as a gift anyway because I'm totally scared.
Crap. I mean,
it's bad.
It's crap later as well.
He tuned out.
Yeah, it's terrible. Right. So then it goes back to footage from. I mean, we see Vader then voiced by James Earl Jones again. Nice.
Mr. Bronson there as well, isn't it?
It's not Mr. Bronson. It's Johnny Briggs' dad.
That's
remember
the guy. Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
Bronson were in Empire Strikes Back, not this one.
Good God, we got some deep cuts, man.
Michael Sheard, his name is. I've got some of his Mr. Bronson from Empire. If anybody's watching like Star Wars, like fan convention trivia, Michael Sheard brought out 3 fan books where he talks about going to conventions. They are absolutely hilarious. They're brilliant. So
I got a friend who met him actually when I was at university, and he just went up to him at the convention and was like, "Can you tell me to sit down, you stupid boy?" And he said, "Sit down, you stupid boy." And those of you who don't know, those of you who aren't familiar with British Kids TV, he was a really horrible teacher in a TV show called Grange Hill in the 80s. Yeah.
And I remember seeing something about him where he was talking about his death scene in, spoiler alert again, death scene in Empire Strikes Back, and he said that after he filmed it, George Lucas said it was the best death scene he'd ever seen. So the next time I watched Empire Strike Back, I were expecting something bigger than what I'd seen already, what I knew, and I'm watching it. I'm going, Jesus Christ, George Lucas has got some low expectations.
Yeah. Let's not forget George Lucas made the Christmas holiday, the holiday special. So
no, that's wrong. He didn't endorse this at all. He just
did he not?
He didn't
really?
He hated it.
He never released it, Rich.
Yeah,
but I thought that was the point, that he'd kind of just been itching to get sort of kid-friendly content out there, like Jar Jar Binks.
Okay, I mean, I don't want to jump the gun. I mean, I don't know how much you've got to go. Do you want to carry on, Lum? Because I don't want to jump in here.
We'll never get to the end of it.
Sorry.
Right then.
So longer, we're like 30 minutes in.
Right. Okay. Right then. So Vader and that, he's walking down the thing where I said there, the officer, and they basically say they're going to put a blockade. They're going to they're looking for the rebels. Basically, they're going to use a load of blockades and stuff. Which Phantom Menace not there, isn't there? I mean, he had that plan all along. Anyway, it goes back to the Wookiees and Marla. After the little one finished washing up for no reason.
My God!
Can I just say, right? Half of this stuff, if you cut it down, it wouldn't be so bad. But the takes are so long, and there's so much crap in it that's so long-winded. Like this is your example. She watches a cooking show. It takes her 10 minutes to turn the TV on to watch it. She puts her apron on again or whatever. And before that, the kid's washing up. He finishes and puts his rag down. It's stuff like that. There's no subtitles. They're all just going like Wookiees do. So she watches this. This is Harvey Korman, character comedian. You'll see him in shows, Mel Brooks stuff and all that. He plays about 3 characters in the whole thing. So he's obviously, and he's trying his best, bless him. And this is his first character. He does like a cooking show. And it's awful. I did like the fact that 2 hands came in halfway through, though, as you can see on the picture, and joined it.
That was a surprise. I wasn't expecting that. It was a plot twist.
Speaking of surprise, it was Bantha surprise what he was making.
That's true.
And the funny thing is, she says, use the Bantha loin. It's a tasty.
Yeah.
And then she says, "Oh, you can make a holiday favourite, which is banther rump."
Which feeds more of the family, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Everybody has a bit of rump to go around.
No.
So right then, and then I was more worried about how much she would going over the cooking pot with Marla, and all this Wookiee hair is going to be in your teeth. I mean, it were awful. She's got an apron on, but nothing. There's no, you know.
Surely the point of having 4 arms as a chef is to cook quicker as well. Like, I'm guessing it doesn't take her any quicker.
And she even chastises one of the ants. She goes, "Not yet," and like she's trying to put some in. She goes, "Not yet." So it's like she can't even control her own arms. Your Honor.
I did wonder when I was watching that whether that was a genuine mistake in the person working the other arms, and it was just an ad lib that he added in.
The whole thing feels a little late 70s Muppet show to me. I'm sure they got some people from the production team from Muppets because the style's the same, the jokes are kind of the same, you know. But Muppet Show's good.
Yeah. Carry on, Chris.
Back to the Millennium Falcon. We cut to then the blowing up TIE fighters. It's all stock footage from the episode 4, basically.
This is the good acting. This is the really good acting from Harrison Ford.
It's good. He keeps the funny thing. What when he's doing then every time it cuts back to him, he keeps kind of keeping his head down like that. I'm thinking he's not making eye contact with anybody on the crew or anything here. He's just like, let's get on with it. Fuck it, we're done. How many scenes have I got? 3.
I've got to get through this without laughing.
Yeah, get through it. He does say he loses power in the remote cannon, so and he has to go do it manually. So you know, so again, Star Wars in canon, you know.
I love how you're kind of dissing it, but kind of bigging it up at the same time. Like you really have thought about all the tiny little trivial bits that you like.
I watched this bastard thing twice. I've had to watch it twice. Oh, anyway, right, back to the Wookiees. This is why I want to get through all this because I've actually done I put some effort in here. Right, back to the Wookiees. Imperial officer comes up on a view screen. I've got an image here. Right, so he comes up, and this is what I'm talking about. You know, they're ahead of the game here with all this stuff. But he doesn't say Kashyyyk. He says Kazook.
Oh.
And I watched it back, and I'm like, he didn't. And it's like, so they don't care about pronouncing stuff properly. So whoever's filming it, like, I don't know what it says.
It just sounds like they were all really stoned and just thought, what did he say? It doesn't matter. Just leave it in.
But he says they've set up a blockade around the planet now, so you know tension's mounting. It's high stakes, guys here. And then there's a knock at the door, and the shopkeeper comes in, and he brings them all gifts. And one of the gifts he says he's brought a proton pack for one of them, and I'm like, because you're getting 76, like Ghostbusters was not around. You know, proton pack, but then you find out it's like a little pack thing. It's just a battery pack. He says he made it through the patrol, so Chewie and Anne will. This shopkeeper says, and he's brought them all gifts. And then he asks Marla for a kiss, which is a bit weird because it goes on again like everything, bit too long. Takes ages to get a kiss off her.
It's like there was no script written. It was just a rough outline of a scene, and they were told to just go and play. Just go and ad lib and don't edit anything out in post production.
Yeah, they needed 90 odd minutes, didn't they? We advert slapped in after they had to get it all in. And this is a real good example. The next scene of how something should have just been absolutely cut. Right, you go up to Lumpy's bedroom, and he takes 20 minutes to open this box and tip the contents out. And he's really careful. He gets this like monitor thing out. It's a transmitter, we find out later. He puts it on the ground, and then the rest of the box, he just tips up, and all this shit goes everywhere. So it's really bad. And right, then what happens? It's terrible. So yeah, but he's delighted. The little lad's delighted with what he's got. He's like, I wanted that. It's amazing. Fucking delighted with it. Back in the living room, right? This is where things get really weird now. You think it's weird so far. The guy, the shopkeeper, gives the uncle or the granddad, whoever, Itchy, gives him a data card thing, and he says, "I brought something for you." And he says, this is what he actually says. He says it's wow. It's wow. You'll like this. So it gives him basically it's porn. He gives this Itchy guy porn, and he puts it like this hairdryer thing on his head, and he starts watching this thing, and all it is, it's basically he's basically having virtual sex with this lady here, Diane Carroll. She's singing, and she's like all this music's like coming onto him, all these lyrics are like coming onto him, and it keeps coming back to him. And he's going, oh yeah. And you're like, this is weird. Very weird.
Is he knocking one out?
He's knocking one out. Yeah, he has a happy ending. Then we move on.
So then,
no, it's not. There's nothing family friendly about this. Then we cut to, here we go, more main cast. We've got Leia and C-3PO. And it starts off this. I didn't get a screen grab, but I should have. It looks like they're doing the Rebels accounts when the scene starts. They're both just stood there. And again, the take is so long. You're like, know what's happening? And they're just like doing a bit of admin. It's weird. It's so weird. Carrie Fisher looks like she's absolutely. I don't know if it's because it's TV.
I mean, I know she had a propensity for the chemicals, but I think it's just really bad makeup and lighting because everybody looks like that.
Everybody looks like that.
No, Mark Hamill want a druggie.
No, they all look like that. It's TV in it. They've not put the money in. Basically.
I mean, C-3PO looks wired in that shot.
Yeah. His eye, look at those eyes. He's got his own cocaine eyes.
Pupils are tiny.
Yeah, pupils like piss holes in the snow there.
I mean, even the costumes, they're using the B costumes for all these people out there. It's not like they've, we'll get to that later though with Cantina, Jesus. Right, okay, so Marla rings Carrie Fisher and, Princess Leia, and she'll always be a princess to me. Princess Leia and C-3PO up, and says, again, I'm upset, I don't know where Chewie and Anna are, you know, I'm concerned about this. Again, don't give a fuck. She goes, they'll be here later, don't worry about it. Not going to help you. But in between all that, there's a really awkward thing where she keeps speaking Wookiee. C-3PO starts translating. Leia tells him off, and then she has to ask him to translate again. So the whole scene takes about 20 minutes when it could have been a quick. Yeah, it's like, it's awful. Right. Forget that. It's taking longer than this. Right. So she speaks to the shopkeeper who's still there in the house, speaks to him. Are you all right? Looking after him a bit, blah, 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 blah. We go back to the Falcon. Chewie and Han have a really nice moment. Again, nice bits in here somewhere. They have a bit in the moment. He promises to get him back to Life Day again. They actually get to the planet, and he says it will land on the north side due to less Imperial traffic there. Lumpy senses the ship as well. Lad, there's a big shot of him, like really close up, and I thought, he's force sensitive.
It's got the force.
It's got the force. But then it turns out, at the scene after, I was like, where am I going with this? It's got force sensitive. He's going to have a Jedi here, a Wookiee Jedi. And it's like, afterwards, they all hear it. And they think it's the Falcon, but bit of a twist, like Last Jedi here, because they don't hear the Falcon, they hear an Imperial ship. And then stormtroopers come in.
Yeah, they open the door, don't they, expecting it to be Chewie, and then these two stormtroopers.
Two stormtroopers and two Imperial officers. Now here, right, if you're a bit of a fan from the old action figures, there was a Death Star commander. Now, they've got this Death Star commander in a load of these scenes, and this is set after the Death Star blew up. So you think, why have you still got that uniform on? You know, that's just for the fans who think.
Maybe he had a holiday or something.
Yeah.
That day, he was just really lucky,
Yeah, lucky day. Yeah, it might have been day after. We don't know. There's no sense of any time in this thing either. You don't know how long it's taking place after. They've also got the original costumes on, so they've obviously not had a wardrobe change. Right then, so he might be force sensitive. No, they go to the door. Then they come in, search the home up. So troopers are going around. Lumpy bites the Death Star commander on his hand because he goes near him, touches him. And he goes, "Oh, you scumbags, you Wookiees!" You're like, "Whoa, steady on. That's not
racist.
Cool. That's racist. Yeah. Then, bizarrely, another thing just to waste some time. The Death Squad commander, the shopkeeper, gives him a thing to watch, and it's a Jefferson Starship music video.
Yeah, that's really.
What song is it?
Oh, I didn't. I skipped it. Even I skipped this bit. I just thought, no.
It was really weird, Webby.
It sounds like a whole big bag of suck, and I've got an awful feeling you're not even fucking halfway through it yet.
I am. I'm getting there. We're motoring on. I'm getting through it.
He's 50 minutes in because this is the point where I fell asleep.
Yeah. Right. Now we come to the only redeeming thing other than Harrison Ford's performance in the whole thing.
Right after I fell asleep. Brilliant.
Yeah. Oh, right. So this is where the Lumpy watches a cartoon. Right, it's never explained why it's cartoon form or anything like that, but it's the best thing in it. There's a cartoon.
No, I did see this. This was actually, this was brilliant. This was
right.
Really
it's all
good.
voiced by the original actors, and it's where we get to see Boba Fett for the first time ever. If you're watching this in '78, there he is. comes in, he's acts all pally with them all.
Can we just mention as well that gun that he's holding there is the gun they tried to give it the Mandalorian?
Yeah,
in the new show. And also, from what I remember, the whole reason this exists as a thing, the holiday special, is because Lucas was like, "Blimey, we're selling a lot of toys after this Star Wars shit. We need some more toys." And they told him about the idea of Boba Fett, but he wasn't coming till the second movie, so they needed an excuse to get that toy on the shelf. Is that right? Am I right there?
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah.
So the whole thing was the whole holiday special is just to try and shoehorn another figure onto the shelves.
Yeah. I mean, if anybody's, I don't know if anybody who's watching seen the old Ewoks and Droids cartoons as well. Same style of animation. They were quite good, them shows, back in the day.
I hate style of animation. That's one thing that put me off. I've always hated. That's why I never liked Droids and Ewoks. I always thought it was something. I don't know, something that took me out of Star Wars.
So, I mean, the plot is they're after this talisman basically, and Luke. Princess Leia's in. I only got a few screen grabs of this, but Princess Leia's there, and Luke, and they get a communication from Chewie on the Falcon, and Han Solo's hung upside down. I've got a shot here from later where they're both upside down. But basically, there's this talisman's causing poisoning of humans. Basically, that's what they say. So Luke goes to save him, and he ends up upside down as well. So Boba Fett.
They keep them upside down in order to preserve them because
the blood rushes to the head of someone. Yeah. So that's explained. So Boba Fett says, "I'm going to go get the antidote for this virus," and he goes to the city that they're on the planet they're on. I can't remember the name of the planet. Chewie goes with him because he don't trust him, and then you see Boba Fett communicate with Darth Vader. And you're like, shit, he's a bad guy. And he says the plan's working. And then they go back to the ship. Boba Fett gets the virus antidote. They go back to the ship. And then that's it. C-3PO interrupts the communication and finds the Vader message. So he tells Luke about it. And then you expect a big showdown. Nothing happens. Boba Fett just flies out of there. But he flies out of the Millennium Falcon. And I was like, he flies out of the hatch that they use when in Empire Strikes Back, when Billy D. Williams
you
saves
love
Matt
that. You love
that hatch. I always wanted that hatch. I told you last week, my Millennium Falcon. I made me own.
No. Yeah,
made me own. I ripped that sucker off. I want that hatch.
We saw the Willie Burns.
Yeah.
The Willie Marks.
Anyway.
Willie Marks.
No, that wasn't that. So it ends with them. Basically, the old cast there on the way back, and they go and Luke says to Chewie, he says, "How did you know Boba Fett were?"
Can you just leave that picture up a second, right? Because I just want everybody in the audience to know that picture is why I never watched them. It looks awful, even in a still.
C-3PO were all right. Anyway, so basically he says, how did you know Boba Fett were a bad guy, Chewie? And he goes, "I could smell him." And then they all have a big laugh, and it cuts back to the dismal rest of this other show that they're in. Right, so back to the holiday special. Okay. I've skipped over that was longer, by the way, that cartoon now. I've skipped it, so you're lucky. Right.
I feel like I'm watching it.
The Imperials trash Lumpy's room. They kick the fuck out of this place as well. Yeah. They do not mess about. This is hard hitting. If you want to see Empire at their might, you watch that scene because they're knocking shit off shelves. The trooper as well. It's really funny. This guy at the back. Look at this guy. Right, the trooper. He starts off like really tame. If you watch it, and then he just starts bringing the fuck out of all the stuff off the shelves. It's really funny. Anyway, so that's good. I laughed at that. And there's a banther teddy bear at the front of the room here. Now the Imperial, him in the black outfit there, he walks to the front. It's like prominent, this banther. I don't know if you can see it on these bad images. Banther toy. He goes up to it and rips its head off. Just rips its head off. Right, because they're looking for anything that might be linked to Rebels. So he just rips it off. And then Lumpy. Let me think about it.
What are they expecting to find? What are they looking for?
Webb transmissions.
Drugs, rebel drugs.
I thought they might be looking for that little piece of map that Luke left behind. Oh, they were sticking some kid's teddy bear in his fucking room. We'll never find it there.
I mean, there's some massive foreshadowing if that was.
There's so many things that get left behind in Star Wars, as we know from Episode 9 with that dagger. It could be a Sith dagger in there, Webb. Don't knock it. Yeah. Family entertainment. This show. Right. So the trashes room, kick fuck out of it. Then they go back downstairs. So we haven't found anything. Then the little Wookiee goes back up and he starts building his transmitter thing. And he puts this instructional video on with Harvey Korman's second character of 3, right? And he's explaining, this is the worst thing in the whole thing even, right? Because this computer character he's got on the screen, he starts breaking down mid-sentence. So again, something that could have been a couple of minutes long is 20 minutes. Again, you know, I'm saying 20 minutes, probably more like 10, but it's awful. And then, so he explains how to build the transmitter. Lumpy makes the transmitter. And then, for no reason whatsoever, we cut to a documentary on life on Tatooine that the Imperials start watching, who are still in the thing. So B. Arthur from Golden Girls and Harvey Korman with his third and final character there. They're in the cantina on Tatooine. You see a load of stock footage from episode 4. He's trying to get romantic with her. She's having none of it, basically. He drinks.
Put the photo up again.
Sorry, yeah.
Probably her fault for leaving her jugs out. Oh, see what I said? There's
well, that's
jug in the background.
That jug in the background gets used. She pours that into his head. He drinks through the top of his head. He's got a hole in his head. Weird. So just when you think things can't get any weirder, then after that he goes in there for a bit. They cut back. Now this is quite prominent to what's going on in the world because this Imperial officer, he tells everybody they're all on lockdown basically, and he tells everybody the bar's got to shut. The pub's got to shut. The cantina has to shut. Curfew.
Oh my God. Life days cancelled with a week's notice.
Yeah. Yeah. So 9:30, pub's got to shut. Cantina's closed. Right. So it goes back to the cantina, and she decides, I'm going to get everybody out. They're not listening to, like, we're not leaving cantina. Forget your curfew and all that. She goes, you've got to go. We've got to shut. Then she decides to sing a song, and by God, it fucking works. They all go. It's terrible, and she sings it to the theme of the. It's like to that.
But is that like the only popular song in the galaxy? Do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think that, like the guys that wrote that, they just coasted off it,
creaming it in? It is a great song.
The modal nodes, the cantina band. That's what they call that. The modal nodes.
What they're called? Wow, good pull there. Yeah. The modal nodes.
We got a couple of comments. We'll come back to them. Yeah. Well, anyway, sorry. Right, we'll keep going. I'll get to the end of this, I swear. Right. Jug in his head, all that business. I noticed the guy actually. He's wearing Jedi robes. This guy, and I was like, is he a Jedi? No, he's not a Jedi. He's not a Jedi. Uncle Owen has Jedi robes. Nobody ever discusses it again. Anyway, right then. Imperial robes. You what?
I mean, I'm assuming there's limited clothing manufacturers in the galaxy. Like, they're just churning out robes. Doesn't matter whether you're a Jedi or not. I mean, do you think Uncle Owen walks through Tatooine and people stop him on the street and go, "Hey man, are you a Jedi? You've got like their robes on." Like, no.
Like, oh, come on, no. Maybe even here's one for you. Maybe even in the Star Wars universe, they have cosplayers.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Think about that. Anyway, I've took way too long doing this. Imperial officer, place curfew. We've done all that. Cantina banter thing. It doesn't matter, does it? We can cut it. Lumpy sends an Imperial message. Now here is actually a bit of plot for you, because I didn't think this thing had one at all. Lumpy builds a transmitter and sends an Imperial message saying, get back to your posts, everybody. We need everybody back to the base. You know, everything's all right. They all go, but they'll leave one stormtrooper there. And this is where things get serious. You know, Han Solo and Chewie turn back up, right? I should have got an image of this. Can't believe I didn't. The trooper basically chases Lumpy out of the Wookiee hut, and he ends up falling off the balcony when Han and Chewie get there to his death. So they don't even shoot him, just falls off the balcony after a bit of fumbling with his gun, you know, like Charlie Chaplin and that with bowler hats and things where they're kicking it about, trying to grab it. It's like that, and you're like, this is shit. Anyway, so Han and Chewie turn up. Harrison Ford cuddles the little one and says, "You're all right, sweetheart. You're all right now," and all that business. They go back in.
Does Han Solo actually say sweetheart?
Yeah, he does. Yes, it's sweetheart. You're right. But he says it with such conviction that I believed it. You know, He knows this Wookiee family. They've had years of history. It's like his own family, Rich. You know, it's special. Right then, so then they go in, he says hello to them all, and then he says, I've got to go back to Falcon, check it's all right. I'll leave you to it, Chewie. So he stays there with the family. Then on the way out, you get one of the most touching Star Wars scenes I've ever seen in my fucking life until recently, but we'll talk about it later. Look at that. Now, tell me you're not welling up.
That is actually
it's so beautiful. I'm going to get the clip
really burying his head into Chewie's shoulder there.
Honestly, man, we're welling up. We've had a lot of emotion about Star Wars this week.
That's not a cuddle. That's a snuggle.
It's beautiful. I'm just going to leave it. I mean, that's the kind of thing you get in. This is the kind of quality you're getting in the show. Amongst the shit, there's stuff like that. So I'll dig that clip out for next time. We'll play that bit, and you'll love it. There won't be a dry eye in the room. Right then. So
beautiful description.
I'm welling up thinking about. I watched it this afternoon. You know. Right then, so he sends a Imperial message. We do that. Finds Lumpy, chased him down. We've done all that. There's another knock at the door. Is there? Yeah, and they think, what now? Chewie goes to the door. Shopkeeper.
That guy again.
He's back for his third time.
Stop trying to sleep with my wife.
He's a rubbish character. He's terrible. Right.
Sorry, how is Han and Chewie actually getting to their destination? Not the end of this film.
Yeah. It doesn't.
I know. No, it goes on. It goes on.
Well, it don't have an
nearly
end.
finished. It's nearly finished. Right. So basically, we've got to account for the missing stormtrooper. Obviously, that's why this dude turns back up. And the Imperials ring him and go, "Where's that trooper?" And they give him a number, B4711. Don't mean jack shit, but they give him it. Missing trooper, and the shopkeeper goes, "He just robbed us all and run off to the hills." That's what he says. And the Imperial officer on the other line goes, "All right, fair enough." So they get away with it, right? Then he buggers off. So there's entrances and exits all the time, eating up your time in your 90 minutes here, right? Then Chewie stares uncomfortably too long, and it's not even as intimate as it was with Han Solo, right? And he gives her a bit of a kiss, and she's got loads of close-ups as Marley. I mean, your heart will melt when you watch it. Then they decide to go get these globes, to pick up these globes, and they walk to the middle of the room. And then there's this weird trippy bit where they all start heading towards light, holding them globes. And you can't tell if they're other Wookiees because they're so far away and the quality's so bad, but I assume they are. We're nearly done, don't worry. Then there's a massive group meeting with them all. All the main cast turn up at the foot of this big tree. There you go. Or it looks like a tree, but it's made out of paper mache, so you don't know. You can't tell what it is.
Has Chewbacca got a onesie on?
He's got a robe on, a red robe. They all wear them.
Oh,
Life Day
robes. Yeah.
So they'll probably after a figure from that. Chewbacca in his ceremonial Life Day robe, and they couldn't do it in time. Right, then they go there. They make some nice speeches, which I like. Carrie Fisher makes speech. Leia, she says something really nice. Then she sings a song to the main Star Wars theme. Don't work. Right, awful.
Like that Saturday Night Live Star Wars, forget all the creatures in there.
Yeah. Right. So then, they decide to end the show. Thank fuck. And they do the worst thing you could possibly do. You show how better the movie was as a montage of loads of scenes from so far. And you watch it going, yeah, that movie's amazing. This is terrible. And then it finishes off completely with them all sat around the Wookiee dinner table holding hands. And it cuts to the end credits, and you see the poor bastards who were involved with it. That's the end of the holiday special.
Wow. God.
Sorry that was so long, guys. I realise it went on ages.
Yeah, thanks for recommending that for us. To